We welcome you to downtown Oklahoma City and Thunder playoff postgame. Saying hello to those watching on the Thunder app, Griffin Stations, KSBI and OKC, KQCW in Tulsa, and the Valley Sports app. Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals between Dallas and OKC in the books, with Dallas winning 119 to 110. Series all tied up now between the Thunder and the Mavs. Hello, everybody. I'm Paris Lawson, sitting next to the Thunder's very own Royce Young. And Royce, this is something that Coach Dagnall has talked a lot about. Losses are bound to happen. It's just about how you respond to them. The Thunder encountering their first loss of this postseason tonight. What did you take away from this one?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was going to happen. I mean, it's so, like, you know, it's one of those things where Thunder got off to an amazing start in this postseason with the sweep against the Pelicans, and then obviously played an excellent game 1. But it is almost impossible to go through an NBA postseason without losing at some point. And really, kind of as you look at this game, Paris, there was a number of pockets within it where Dallas was able to kind of gain control in the game there in the second quarter. The Thunder did a great job in a lot of different cases coming back. But, you know, I think back to when the game got to, I think it was 1 point, J-Dub had a big putback jam.
Yep.
And there was a couple key Thunder turnovers there, and the Mavs were able to capitalize on it and build kind of the inverse of the game in game 1, where it was the Thunder who had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Tonight it was the Mavs who were able to build up a 10-point lead. But, you know, it's just one of those games where, you know, the Mavs, again, one of the areas that everybody had an expectation for is the Mavs are a good shooting team, and they're going to generate a lot of good looks from three, and they were going to have a game like this where they shot 18 of 37 from three. P.J. Washington obviously red hot from the perimeter. So these are things that shouldn't feel like a shock to you. The fact that the Thunder lose the game, obviously that's disappointing, but again, this was bound to happen in this postseason.
And this is something that we see a lot from the Thunder, where another team is going to get out to a strong start, like we saw from Dallas in this game. They had 8 threes in that first quarter alone, so you could tell they were really feeling it. They had the juice tonight, but the Thunder didn't let this game really get out of hand at any point. They fell behind by double digits, 13 maybe at the most, but they were able to keep this game close, and then they were able to even take a 3-point lead there in that third quarter. But the ability to keep the game close, even despite not having your fastball offensively, while Dallas was certainly throwing their fast pitch.
Yeah, I think, you know, one thing that is kind of a positive takeaway for me is there was a lot of talk about kind of the expectation that Dallas would come out and really try to throw a haymaker here in response. And the Thunder, I thought, were well prepared for that, because I thought the Thunder met their physicality, met their energy and intensity, and did a great job of answering different runs. I mean, just look at the game that was played earlier tonight before the Thunder played, where Boston on their home court got blown out by Cleveland, and they were not able to answer that kind of intensity punch. And look, that happens a lot in series that are going to go a little bit longer, is that you see that road team really try to muster up something in that game too. But I actually thought the Thunder did a great job of really absorbing that and really meeting the Mavs throughout the game and having a chance as this game extended into the fourth quarter.
That's something Coach Dagnall talks a lot about, having that competitive empathy, recognizing that Dallas came into this game down 0-1 in this series, so you have to expect a highly motivated group that's going to come out and throw their best punch. That's what the Thunder got here tonight. They met that with the physicality and the energy that you're talking about. Just a couple of key plays and key shots from Dallas down the stretch to really kind of put the cap on this one.
And again, when, you know, we talk a lot about, and this is something Coach Mark talks about, is how you learn through your experiences. And we've heard a phrase Coach Mark says a lot, which is sometimes you need to taste your own blood. And this feels like one of those games where the Thunder maybe needed to taste their own blood. And, you know, and there could be a lot of positives coming out of, you know, a young team going through an experience like this. You know, we've talked about the 0-0 mindset a lot, and it's been a really positive thing to have to do it after wins, but it also applies after losses in a lot of different ways too, of where you got to reset yourself mentally and not carry the weight of a game prior into what's next. So, you know, for this Thunder team, they're a young group. They're experiencing something now again for the first time, which is a playoff loss, and now that's an experience that they're going to learn from and grow from and prepare for game 3 with.
Let's talk about a couple of individual players. For the Dallas side, it was Luka Doncic, it was P.J. Washington carrying the majority of the scoring load, both of those guys with 29 points in this game. On the Thunder side of the basketball, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with a near triple-double. He had 33 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. What did you see from him throughout this game tonight?
I thought Shai was awesome. awesome throughout this one, and he really set a positive tone early, had it going in a number of different ways. And again, just the floor game of Shai, I think, is so impressive. We saw it in game 1, 29, 9, and 9. And that one, like you mentioned, 33, 12, and 8. And this one, you know, the Mavs are definitely shading a lot, bringing a lot of help towards Shai. And Shai is making a lot of those right decisions, getting off the ball and letting his teammates play advantage basketball, trusting them to make the right kinds of plays. We saw it in that first quarter with Jay Will stepping in off the bench. And a lot of those were set up by the attention that SGA draws. And so just throughout this series, you know, that's what these two star players are going to do. Luka Doncic does the same thing to the Thunder, and the SGA can put the Mavericks in that same kind of bind.
It was so interesting to see Shai, especially in that third quarter. It felt like he had a flurry of about 4 assists back to back, setting up his teammates and finding those open looks. And that facilitating so key in SGA's game because, yes, this guy can score. He can go out and get a bucket. But it's his ability to set up his teammates that makes him so special.
I think that's an area of growth that Shai somewhat gets underrated for him. And, you know, we've talked about it before, but he mentioned it coming into the season of his experience with Team Canada, that he was on the ball basically throughout that entire tournament at the FIBA World Cup. And that was a real big positive learning experience for him of just playing more traditional point guard for Team Canada, and that has been something I think that he's been able to really find that balance with. And it's one of the remarkable things about SGA, to be a 30-point scorer in this league and never suffocate the offense. Because even tonight, I mean, with all the attention Dallas has on him, it feels like everybody is involved in the offense at all times, just the cutting, the spacing, the ball moving. Shai finds that balance so incredibly well. It's one of his elite skills in the NBA.
And just continues to show up every single night in a multitude of ways. One thing we hear so often from Coach Dagnall is that every game takes on a life of its own, even if you're playing the same opponent like the Thunder is doing in this series with the Dallas Mavericks. Royce, I want to get your opinion. What you saw different from the Dallas Mavericks coming into this game? You mentioned the energy, the punch. What were you seeing out there on the Dallas side that kind of gave them a little bit of an edge tonight?
I mean, this is an oversimplification of it big time, but the ball went in the basket a lot more for them.
Fair.
You know, they had some good looks in game 1, whether it was Josh Green or Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington. They had some open corner threes, and the Mavericks generate corner threes as well as anybody in the league, just again based on the attention that Luka draws and then his ability to spray to the corners. The Thunder are a team that just based on defensive scheme sometimes gives up a lot of corner threes, but the Mavs, they just made a lot of them tonight, and that's a big bonus for them in this one.
Yeah, that'll certainly make an impact and something that the Thunder certainly going to go back to the drawing board and analyze for Game 3. All right, we're going to send you over to the podium now. Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall addressing the media.
The looks that you guys got from 3 and the ones that they got.
We'll look at the looks. I mean, I thought, you know, credit them. They shot the ball really well, especially coming out of the gates. But we were able to stabilize the game. You know, we weathered a pretty good storm there in the first half, got it in striking distance, took a lead in the third. So we gave ourselves a chance, you know, even after the hot shooting. And I just didn't think we executed well enough, either end, to really grab a grip on the game. Credit them. They came in and played really well.
On those threes, the Mavs got a lot of attention paid to Kyrie and Luka. Are you okay with the looks they got, or do you feel like you guys could have got out to them a little bit more?
It's a lot of threes. I mean, okay with some of them. You know, some of it's just like game plan, cost. You know, you have to give something up. And then some of them I thought were just like looseness. I thought we didn't do a great job of getting set tonight, and a lot of them came, you know, on a loose floor or in transition. They obviously rebounded the ball well, you know, like we did last game. So it's a mishmash of things. There's some that we just have to tip our hat. There's others that are controllable that we have to correct, obviously.
And then what did you think about you guys' pace tonight?
I'm sorry?
Pace.
I thought at times good. You know, we were taking the ball out of the net more tonight than we have in a while, which slows you down. But I thought, you know, we tried to go at times. Our decision-making wasn't as sharp as it's been. You know, I didn't think we had great attacks tonight offensively. I just didn't think we were as sharp on either end of the floor as we've been in a long time. So got to learn from it, figure out, you know, how we can improve and be a better team in Game 3.
You gave like a back cut dunk with like 2.9 on the shot clock, and, you know, a couple walk-in threes. I can remember. What are maybe the specific possessions that, you know, you think back on, like those are the errors that you usually don't make?
Yeah, I mean, there were a good amount of them tonight. You know, credit them. I mean, it's a heavyweight fight, and we threw a punch the other night. They threw a punch tonight. Part of fighting, you know, is throwing them, and part of fighting is taking them. We took one tonight, but so not to take anything away from them. But I just thought from an execution standpoint, there was just too much unearned. You know, the one you mentioned, certainly, but it was a lot of plays on both ends. You know, I thought there were some offensive plays where they got runouts, you know, just on lack of execution or a decision we made. So something we can learn from. I mean, we've been a team that's grown through everything. We've grown through a lot of success this year. We have to grow through, like I said, taking a punch tonight.
You went with Wiggins over Giddey in the second half. What went into that decision, and what hasn't worked, would you say, in Giddey's minutes?
Say it one more time.
What hasn't worked in the Giddey lineup so far?
I wouldn't say it didn't work. I would just say, it's a halftime subs is something we've done for a long time. It's basically an in-game substitution. So I don't view it as any different than checking somebody into the game with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter or something. So we're going to keep it fluid. We went big right away early tonight. I thought that looked pretty good. We're going to be a moving target there, do what we think is best every night. Every game's different. We're going to keep doing it.
Luke is obviously going to get points. He's that kind of scorer. But what did you maybe need to do better against him tonight? Had 7 assists too. I think double-digit rebounds. Are those the type of things you have to hit and live with the points, or what did you feel like your defense did with him tonight?
Again, every possession's different. I thought to start the game there was kind of like a correction on his part. Not that he corrected it, but I mean, last game he didn't shoot the ball very well. There were some looks that he got last game that he's probably used to making. He made more of them early in the game tonight. I didn't think, it was necessarily, what we gave to him. I thought it was some of the rotations out of it. Some of the help wasn't quite as early as it was last game. It was more of those things where they get the easy stuff. But, I mean, he's going to earn it. Irving's going to earn it. Those guys are great players.
Mark, just to start the fourth quarter, I mean, Shea was in for all of maybe 35 seconds. You put Dort and Kaysen in together, which I don't know how many times you've done that to start the fourth this season. Just what went into that decision just to start the quarter?
The Shea one is just we had possession, just trying to utilize him for one offensive possession there with a deficit and then sub him right out. Kaysen and Dort, they played Doncic. They got him a blow in the third, so Dort had fouls. We got Dort off with him and wanted to make sure that for the rest of the game we matched his minutes. Kaysen, I thought, was playing pretty well at that point.
And you guys have responded in situations like that in fourth quarters all season. You've seemingly always had that next gear. Just what did you see in the fourth that maybe limited that final gear?
We've got a really good opponent that played really well tonight. So, we tried to scrap back into it. I thought our effort was really good tonight. I thought we tried to gear it up a couple different times. I thought we left something to be desired was execution. And that's part of these things. I mean, these are emotional games. It's hard to sustain that for the period of time that we have leading into this game. Now we just got to get, the car back on the road and be a little bit better on both ends.
Mark, after a sweep in round one, are you curious to see how you guys respond to maybe the first taste of adversity in the playoffs?
Yeah, curious but confident. I'm not sitting here wondering. This is a team that's made a habit of, getting back up. We keep a pretty steady temperament through the ups and downs of the season. And this is just part of the deal. I mean, this is the playoffs, playing against really good teams. These are deep waters. And so, like I said, you're going to throw some punches, you're going to take some punches, and now we got to eat one, get back to 0 tomorrow and be a better team in game 3.
Execution, you mean can you just clarify on that missing shots or just really clarify what you mean by that?
Definitely not missing shots. It's more, what's generating the shots, how quality the shots are. Is there something that we could have done better from a process standpoint? And then same thing defensively. If, they make a tough play, you tip your hat to them. But you just got to bet over the course of a 100-possession game that if you do it well on both ends of the floor, it'll yield a win. I didn't think we played like that tonight. And to credit them, they did. They played really well. That was part of it, too.
Mark, just to the points that Joe made in his question, because you guys haven't lost in, over a month, what does that look like preparing these guys for the emotional gaps now between these days?
We've lost a game before. This isn't uncharted waters. We just haven't lost lately with long layoffs and the sweep in the first round. So, the team pulls together. The thing I respect about our guys is they pull together in adversity, and we've pulled together in success, which is hard to do too. So everything we do as a team. We'll learn from this one as a team, and we'll walk out there as a team on Saturday.
Mark, you mentioned Luka and some of the shots he missed in game one he happened to make in this game. How do you sort of parse between the law of averages bouncing back versus sort of shot attempts you guys want to limit that you weren't able to tonight?
Yeah, that's the challenge. I thought there was a law of averages thing tonight with him. He made some shots early, especially, and And then we went and got him a little bit tonight, and the execution out of those plays wasn't great. We mixed our looks again. I think that's important against him, is not to give him a steady diet of anything. Same with Irving. Those guys have seen everything, so they'll calibrate pretty quickly. But we just got to, tighten the screws on the execution a little bit on that end.
You mentioned the double big lineups. You didn't go to that much this season. What's kind of motivated you to use it like you have, and what's working?
I thought in both games it's given us like a nice rim presence. It's given us a nice rebounding presence, and I think with the way that they defend us, it doesn't really alter us much offensively. We're able to stay in character. Obviously, Jay Will shot it well early tonight. I think that makes them think twice about some coverages, and so it's just another option. And like I said, early in a series, every possession feels like it has a lot of gravity to it, but early in a series, you want to create optionality. You want to figure out what you have. You want to figure out what the best thing is, and we tried to do that here through 2 games.
Dort was in foul trouble for good chunks of this game. What are your thoughts on just how he's being officiated specifically?
They're not all defensive fouls. There's a couple like loose ball fouls. Last game he had an offensive foul, so it's not all just like how he's guarding Doncic. But I mean, with the physicality of him, the physicality of Doncic, he's going to pick some up. We'll balance, when to use him and when to roll the dice and when to get him out. I think Kaysen's done a nice job spotting those minutes in both of the games, so we have confidence in him and the other guys. So I think he's been officiating. I thought the officiating crew tonight again was pretty steady.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Coach Dagnall with some great perspective there following tonight's loss to the Dallas Mavericks in Game 2 of these Western Conference semifinals. And I thought he brought up a really good point, Royce, a kind of a really good line from Coach. He was asked about how his team was going to respond, if he was curious to see how his team would respond to their first playoff loss. And he said, I'm curious, but I'm confident. What is it about this group that gives Coach Dagnall that much confidence?
I put that same line in my mental notebook as well, because I thought that one stood out. If I was writing a game story, that would be one of my lead quotes, I think, in this one, because that is something that I think a lot of people are curious about with this young Thunder team. Again, this is a first-time experience for them. Just a little over a week ago, it was their first-time experience of winning a playoff game, then winning a playoff series, and now being in round 2. So there's a lot of firsts for this young group, and now this is a lost situation. But, like Coach Dagnall was talking about, one of the things about this group is we've seen it all throughout this season, how they've even in-game answered the bell when they get behind. They were one of the best teams in the NBA at coming back from double digits. They only lost 3 games in a row once this season. Just that uncommon ability to get to 0 and to reset yourself mentally and be ready for the next game is something that they have.
Yeah, they might be a young team, but they are certainly a mature team, and they have shown that time and time again. One guy who's leading the charge on that maturity, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is at the podium right now.
Came out on top, but we just got to be better from the jump.
You guys have gone through so many of these situations for the first time as a group all season long. Is there almost a level of maybe embracing or excitement to attack a challenge like this that you haven't faced in the postseason yet, having to respond to a loss?
Yeah, no matter what's thrown at us, we compete, we give it our all, we do it together, and we see where it gets us, and that's what we've done all year, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
I know you're not on Luka primarily, but from your point of view, what you're seeing, obviously he didn't look like this in game 1 and a lot of round 1. What did you see different from him compared to Tuesday tonight?
I think it feels like he played the same game, his game. He just I feel like tonight he made shots. They might have had us a little bit more spread out, in our shell. We got to crowd their best players, obviously. That's what everyone tries to do. But yeah, he just made tough shots tonight, I think.
And since the beginning of the season, I think back to the Cleveland game where you guys were down 10 with 2 minutes to go. You've been in situations like this where you could, hit that final gear and kind of have that response. Just what did you feel like it was in tonight's fourth quarter that maybe limited that final swing?
I think a lack of execution and focus. Certainly on my part, had a few plays that I could have prevented if I had focused better. But yeah, especially when you're down that much with that little time, the margin of error is slim, and you got to be pretty much perfect for the rest of the game, and we weren't.
Shai, following up on Gallo's second question, I mean, you guys didn't face really any adversity in the first round, getting that sweep. Now going back to Dallas with the series tied, are you sort of curious to see how you guys are going to respond to that?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I'm excited for the challenge. Yeah, I don't think for us it's more complicated than trying to be better than we were tonight for next game. And like we've done all season, just solve all of our problems with the whole team.
You mentioned execution. Mark mentioned execution. What are the things that you feel like you guys could have executed a little bit better as the game went along?
Off the top of my head, I had the under out of bounds where PJ got the dunk. That was 2 points. PJ ducked in and got like a and one layup. That's 3 points. 5 points. And then just like our rotations, closeouts, they had a few like blow-by layups. That's just off the top of my head, but this is probably more.
What, Jenny, first row?
Shea, with the points that Luka got tonight, 29 is not out of the realm of possible for him, but he gets 7 assists, 11 boards. I mean, are those the type of things that if he's going to score points, you have to limit the other stuff? Or how did you guys feel like you can balance out the fact that he's probably going to have some nights where he's going to score like that?
Yeah, obviously a really talented player. He had a big night, and it was below his average, believe it or not. He's a really talented basketball player. Yeah, I think it's more like just making him work for everything and making things tough. He's seen every coverage, every defense. It's just about making him work, and hopefully that wears on him.
Did you get any explanation on the technical foul you received?
Yeah, he said that Scott said that it seemed like I was playing through the no call and extended my arm. I told him I didn't try to, but hey, it is what it is.
But it was the elbow, wasn't any conversations with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was elbow, yeah.
A couple times tonight. That alternating thing with you, because he goes in the post sometimes. He also knocked down some threes tonight.
Say again, sorry? What was your question?
Being matched up with PJ tonight. Did that alter anything with you being matched up with him on the defensive end?
Did that alter?
Yeah, with you being matched up against him.
Not really. He played well tonight, made some shots. I think like the other team's really good, and they're here for a reason. And we're gonna have nights like this where they're hot and they make shots, and we got to be even better when they do so to try to get a W. And we just weren't good enough tonight for that.
Anyone else?
Great stuff there from Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder's very own superstar. And we've got another superstar sitting down with us right now. News 9 very own Dean Blevins, an Oklahoma legend. Dean, thanks so much for joining us here post-game. Obviously, the Thunder walk away a little bit short here tonight, but a lot of fight from this young group. What did you see from them in this matchup tonight?
Well, we saw Mark Daigneault just call it like it ended up being. He said in the pregame press conference that he expected Dallas to come out with more force, be more physical, and play faster, and they did all of that. You know, at the end of the day, it comes down to, you know, how many times you get the ball in the basket and what percentages you shoot. And Oklahoma City shot it really well, 46% from three in that first game, and tonight they crater into the 30s, and then the P.J. Washington-led three-point shooting Mavs were up there at 46%. So give a lot of credit to the Mavs for this, and the coach even said it in the post-game press conference. He said it wasn't like we were bad. He said they were really good.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the case a lot of times, Dean, is the other team played a lot better. They made 17 threes in this one. But, you know, one of the things Paris and I were just talking about was, you know, this team, as young as they are, this is their first experience losing a playoff game. Mark talked about that he's curious but confident in how they'll respond. You've watched this team all season long. What's your expectation on how they'll respond from a loss?
Oh, I think they'll bounce back and learn. I think that he was pleased with a lot of things, but not overall the decisions. I think they made more unwise decisions than what he's seen in the past. So they'll play smarter. This is going to be a heck of a series. I picked it to go 7 from the beginning and was really hoping that I was wrong. You get this one, then you got a 93% chance of, winning the series. But right now it's volleyed back to Oklahoma City, and Thunder has to come back and put forth a great effort and make a lot more shots.
Another thing we were talking about is just the play of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A near triple-double for him tonight. He's been so consistent all season long, but especially in this series, really well-rounded efforts from him. What have you noticed from him over these first couple of games?
His poise is just off the charts, and his leadership. There were some things he did after when there were timeouts in collecting the guys before they ever got over to the huddles. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was like he is just in control out there, and it's just a dream guy to have on your club. But, other guys have to contribute, and I thought one of the biggest things tonight was that the three-point shooting that was so good in that first game for Oklahoma City, they missed tonight because there were a lot of contested shots. Dallas was all over them in their face. Wiggins makes one, and Isaiah makes one, and the other night they were ripping the cord. So it's going to be a fantastic rest of the series.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dean. I mean, that's something Coach Mark talked about after game one is Dallas has a lot of variance in their games. They're one of the teams that can go on runs and really hit you really hard. So what can the Thunder do a little bit better? Maybe there was a 9-0 run there in that third quarter where Dallas was able to kind of create that separation after the Thunder cut it to 1. Where can the Thunder do better? You mentioned the turnover element, but to maybe kind of try to limit some of those explosive runs from Dallas.
Well, I think they'll make a few defensive adjustments, but I think that a lot of it goes back to the decisions. You get in a frenetic pace like this and the atmosphere, J-Dub's feeling bulletproof, and he takes a shot that's really not warranted. Quick timeout. And same thing, I think Chet did the same thing. So I think they'll learn a lot looking at this tape. It sounds like coach speak, but I think they really will here. Heck, they won 10 straight. They got to lose sometime, right?
And we've seen them bounce back from all kinds of adversity all season long. No doubt they're looking to bounce back for Game 3. Dean, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your thoughts with us here today.
You bet. Scott Foster and Red Panda, you knew something was – this town's not big enough for both.
Knew something was going to be up. Thank you so much, Dean. Stick around with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame. We got more coming for you when we come back after this little break.
Education as a whole, it's not just subject to what's in the building, in the brick and mortar building. It's everybody in the community
fighting for our students, fighting for our teachers, and fighting for our profession.
We're molding young minds into growing the next generation, and I think that's awesome.
I wanted to be a part of the school. Not only is just a teacher, but it's an active leader.
Where many voices become one.
This is where we're supposed to pick up the new employee. Are you sure this is where he lives? That's what it says. Huh. Seems like an odd place. Huh. What is that racket? Hey, what are you doing? Get in the van. Did you shower today, Rubble? When's the last time you shaved? Airco Service is proud to be the official service company of the Thunder.
Get too high or too low, even when you win or lose. So,
I know that it may take some time to do that look in the mirror, but were there any things that you felt out there that are like, we know we can do this significantly better in Game 3?
I think just execute our offense a little more. We were kind of sloppy at points. Even when we were able to get back in the game, we weren't as sharp as we wanted to be. And they were. I thought they executed pretty well, especially down the stretch. Managed the clock pretty well. And like I said, they hit shots, and whenever teams do that, you kind of just got to tip your hat and be ready to play the next one.
On those doubles on Luka and some on Kyrie and passing it out to the weak side corners, do you feel like you guys could have got out to them a little bit better, or is that part of the execution that you feel like you guys can do better?
I probably have to look at it. Just the game just ended, so it's kind of like there's a flurry of stuff. I feel like I could have did better in the team, but I feel like everybody's going to have some sort of individual every individual player is going to have something where they could have felt like they closed out better. But when you're playing against good teams, you just kind of have to win those closeouts, regardless of who it is. And, you know, like I said, you kind of just got to tip your hat. They hit some shots tonight. They shot really well. But I think tomorrow I'll probably have a more clear understanding of what we did. But right now it's just a bunch of stuff going on that I think I could have did better.
Who else we got? Let's go to Mike. Let's go Schlecht and Jenny in the front, please.
Yeah, Matt. Hold it down, bro. Yeah.
You and Shea both talked about a lack of focus on the court. What do you think that? What do you attribute that to?
I mean, it could be a multitude of things. I mean, there's not really like an excuse to be made. I mean, if there just wasn't one, I think it's just more about winning the days in between, just getting ready to focus up for the next one. You know, I think it'll probably be a little more clear when you're able to watch the game a little more. But I think we just had a couple breakdowns offensively and defensively that kind of hurt us. You know, it's not this big stretch of game where, you know, we didn't play well the whole time. I think it was just little gaps where they're able to go on runs, and, you know, it's hard to kind of play catch up.
You guys know that Luka, the type of scorer he is, a 29-point night is not out of the realm of possibility for him. Did you feel like you've made the shots tough enough on him? What would you sort of, when you think about what you guys did as far as what he was able to do offensively, did you guys make it hard enough on him, or is that a focus for next game?
We have Lou Dort guarding him, so it's hard as it is, but he's a good basketball player too. He hit tough ones. It's life. It's basketball. We hit tough ones too. Lou's doing a good job on him, making it tough. You know, but like I said, you know, he's a great player, so he's gonna get to his spots. It's just about making it hard and making it hard for him to get to those spots, and, you know, it's a make or miss league. You know, if he doesn't make those shots, we're sitting here and we're, you know, talking about him not making shots. So that's just how it is. You know, we're gonna keep trusting Lou with that task and just try and make it difficult.
You've talked a lot about the fan base and just the energy in the arena helping like carry you guys to big runs. Is there ever just a challenge the opposite way of sort of the energy in the arena sort of pulling you guys like out of focus or anything like that, where, or not necessarily out of focus, but like whenever they're going crazy about the referees, about like keeping your guys' composure in a different way?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. I think it's something we've gotten good at. They've been good all year, so like the energy in here isn't really too new, and we've had a series already kind of experiencing that, so it hasn't been too crazy. But yeah, it's something, just maintain your emotions. You know, refs are going to make good calls, bad calls, whatever the case may be. They're going to miss stuff. So I think we do a good job as a team and not really focusing on what else is outside factors that really can't really control the game. Like if they call a foul, you know, more than likely you can't really overturn it, so it's not really something that that's going to change the game, or, you know, they can't go back and change the call. So it's just stuff that we understand, and kind of just next play.
When you get in a situation where Luka can make shots, he can also assist, what do you want to take away from it? Does it just come down to the other guys maybe missing some shots? I mean, you know, your Josh Greens, your Tim Hardaway Jr., some of those other guys maybe missing next time instead of hitting?
I mean, yeah, I think we're throwing different looks at Luka, so I mean, sometimes guys are going to be open, and it's kind of up to us to rotate and be there to make other guys make tough shots too. Not finna sit up here and give away a whole game plan, but you know, I think that's what makes it a hard task to guard him, is because he puts a lot of pressure in their offense to be able to score and pass. So, like I said, it's just about us kind of containing and sticking to what we do and kind of be ready for that. I think we missed a couple defensive assignments, and like I said, it's not a big gap where we're missing defensive assignments the whole game. It's, you know, it could be two that end up, you know, kind of costing you the game. We kind of give up a slip on a out of bounds with 2 seconds left and they get a dunk, or Tim Hardaway's corner three. I fouled Tim Hardaway on the three. So, like, there's little defensive lapses in the game that, you know, can cost you.
Anybody else? Got Snyder?
Why do you think your double big lineup that you haven't used much this season, it seems to be working? Why has that been effective?
We have two smart bigs that know what they're doing. I feel like Mark will probably give you a better answer in regards to that. But I think you're talking about Chet and Jay Will, right? Yeah, just two smart, high IQ individuals playing on the court together that can rotate and are smart with how they play. So, you know, Jay Will's a really good passer too. So having him out there kind of point forwarding a little bit, as he'd say, allows us to kind of move without the ball and play off him. I made a really good pass to Wiggs down the stretch. Obviously, the touchdown pass to Chet. So they play good off each other.
Anybody else? Thanks, Dustin.
Listen to Jalen Williams there post-game following tonight's game against the Dallas Mavericks, and it always strikes me just the poise, composure, and great perspective from these young guys. Jalen Williams talking about the fact that you can't get too high with the wins and too low with the losses. You got to stay pretty even-keeled here, and a guy that is only in his first ever playoffs having that level of maturity is just so impressive.
I thought the same thing, Paris, because it's funny. It's like, playoff games, really just any game, but playoff games especially are very emotional, and those are the guys playing it.
Exactly.
They're the ones in the game. And so, they're experiencing the emotions, and to be able to, that's why they're just different than we are. But, for them to be able to have that kind of perspective and kind of wind down and be able to zoom out. And, that's, I think, also just kind of the mental training that they've undergone over the last few years to be able to not get too high, not get too low. Of course, they're as competitive as anybody. I don't think anybody would ever doubt that about this young Thunder team. But, that is kind of part of what has made this group so successful throughout the season, throughout last season, throughout this season, is that they are able to really kind of mentally reset themselves and focus on the things that are important. J-Dub taking responsibility for a few things, that he could have done better. Fouling a three-point shooter, being a little bit sharper in a few different areas. Those are things that he's focused on, less so the emotional aspects of the game.
And what's kind of encouraging about this is that it wasn't an effort thing. It wasn't an energy thing. The Thunder matched all of that. It wasn't even physicality. It was just a couple of stretches where the execution just got a little bit loose. And that's to be understood. That's what happens in the playoffs. It's really hard to sustain a high level of execution for 48 minutes straight, much less for 2 consecutive games. So that's something that is pretty easily fixable by the Thunder, going back and looking at the drawing board a little bit.
It's one of those things I feel like when people watch some of these games, it's like sometimes you forget because you're leaning on one side of it that the other team really wants to win too.
Exactly.
Like the other team is really, really trying to win, and they're spending all their off time in the day between games of game planning and scheming and trying to adjust and be ready to play this game. And so it's one of those things, of like the other team is mad and they have that kind of extra emotion and coming into a game, and the Mavericks understood what was on the line in this one. You talked just about the execution elements of the game. I thought it was interesting. It felt like the Thunder were sloppy kind of at times in this one. Still only 10 turnovers, which is an incredibly low number. I will say the Mavs, though, only turned it over 9 times. They had a lot better ball security in this one. Game 1, they turned it over 15 or 16 times. So that was one area of difference where Thunder typically are winning that battle and using defense to offense as they have all season long.
It just goes to show, especially in playoff games, how important margins are and how a quick little stretch of a 5-0 flurry can really make the difference between winning a game and losing the game. And Dallas just had a couple more of those flurries throughout the game, especially in the second half.
No question. I mean, each possession feels like it has such a weight to it. Everything gets amplified up throughout a postseason game. So, it is one of those things where, you try not to even react to those sorts of things in game. But, the Mavericks made shots. They made plays throughout the game. Thunder did a good job of answering it throughout. J-Dub talked about it right there, though. There was a couple pockets of runs where the Mavs were able to kind of build a lead, and then they just kind of hung on to that lead throughout the fourth quarter.
Yeah, something that the Thunder's definitely going to look to improve going into Game 3. And you're going to want to stick with us here on Thunder Playoff Postgame, because when we come back, we're breaking down everything you need to know heading into Game 3. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
For many homeowners, the unexpected cost of replacing or even repairing their air conditioner can be overwhelming. We offer multiple financing options on new equipment or even repairs.
Financing solutions with no money down. Another reason to let Airco be the company you know.
Education as a whole, it's not just subject to what's in the building and the brick and mortar building. It's everybody in the community.
Fighting for our students, fighting for our teachers, and fighting for our profession.
We're molding young minds into growing the next generation, and I think that's awesome.
I wanted to be a part of the school, not only as just a teacher, but as an active leader, where many voices become one.
When the power goes out in your neighborhood, don't get left in the dark thanks to a home generator. And a new whole home generator can be installed at your home for as little as $150 a month.
Let Airco prepare your home for the next power outage.
Welcome back to Thunder Playoff Post Game. The Thunder now, their challenge is going to Dallas, taking on the Mavericks on their home floor, enemy territory, and it's all about getting back to 0-0. That is a phrase that we have heard all season long, really for the past few seasons, ever since Coach Dagnall has been at the helm for OKC. Royce, what are you anticipating as this team goes to Dallas?
Well, I think one of the things is that, I've been through a lot of playoff series, and, a buzzword that becomes very popular among people in between games is adjustments. Like, what are adjustments going to happen? And Coach Mark has talked about this, is that some of those adjustments are a lot smaller than you think they are, and a lot of times the adjustments just are kind of simple things. At the end of the day, it's a basketball game, and the Thunder got to come out, they got to play with force, they got to play with intensity, and be a little sharper in some of the areas that I think that they're going to clean up and film and look at, and try to figure out where they can execute a little bit better offensively. They feel like they maybe missed some of those opportunities, and then at the end of the day, you just got to play ball again. And so, you can't overreact too much and think, oh boy, we got to just throw everything out and make a big adjustment because we lost our first playoff game here. That's not the method to it typically in a postseason series.
Always so even-keeled, this Thunder team and coaching staff, and they're going to keep that even-keeled mentality heading into Game 3. All right, let's take a look at the remaining schedule for this playoff series. Game 3 at Dallas, like we just mentioned, that's going to be an early tip-off at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC. Game 4 at Dallas, that's going to be at 8:30, another late tip-off. Game 5, it says TBD there, but that is back here inside of Paycom Center. That game is going to be at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it'll also be on TNT. So a lot of still great action coming your way between these two teams. That already a lot of entertainment value between these two teams so far. Even inside of Paycom Center, the energy has just continued to rise and grow with each game inside of this building, and you can only anticipate that Dallas might try to match that energy with their home crowd out in Dallas.
Yeah, I think the Thunder fans have kind of set the standard, and everybody's kind of trying to catch up to it a little bit. Everybody, the reputation is well earned from Loud City, so a lot of people are definitely trying to kind of match that intensity. But, look, a Game 5 is guaranteed back in this building.
That's right.
Paris, the Thunder didn't get that in the first series, so no long layoff this time. Fans aren't going to have to go a long period of time. So let's take that as a positive here, is that Thunder fans will get to see their team a little quicker this time around.
Already looking forward to Game 3 in Dallas. Once again, our final score, 119-110. For Royce Young, I'm Paris Lawson. Our next postgame show comes your way Saturday after Game 3 of this best-of-7 Western Conference semifinals between the Thunder and the Mavericks from American Airlines Center in Dallas. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night from OKC.